Hi everyone, we're back again. Apologies for the intermission there. Quick bathroom break from Max here. He's been drinking a little bit too much coffee.
Désolé pour le problème, on ne sait pas à quoi c'est dû, mais ça s'interrompt de temps en temps. On est vraiment désolé, on n'y est pour rien.
Because Max is the star of the show, when he needs to go to the bathroom, we have to cancel the whole show and we have to restart again. So apologies for that. And I am joking if you didn't get me, but we've got the female, some of the top female runners here. This is Laura and Victoria. Again, what we mentioned before is these ladies are super strong climbers, so it's no surprise that we see them at the front of the field going up the first climb out of Sierre. It's kind of what was predicted actually before the race, so there's no surprise with that, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can maintain their position here or push forward when they get onto the flatter sections. As they climb up this hill here, they're moving up towards Ponchette, which is kind of the second major checkpoint where they can get some resupply, and it's at the very end of the first climb here. We're still waiting to get Emily back, but in the meantime, I just want to say, if you aren't aware, we're doing a competition with Sunto, and it is, if you predict the first female and the first male for the race, the winners, and if you predict their finishing time or as close to it as possible, then you'll be able to go into the competition to win a new Sunto watch. So it's going to be great to get a few people putting down their thoughts and putting down their ideas for that.
I will translate in French. Donc il y a un concours pour gagner une montre Sunto. Il faut deviner le nom du vainqueur et son temps à l'arrivée tout à l'heure, avant Chandelin. Il faut écrire son temps avant qu'il arrive à Chandelin, et donc c'est le temps qu'il mettra aujourd'hui. Et le nom du vainqueur, il faut mettre les deux. C'est pour gagner une montre Sunto.
Thanks a lot, Max. It's a great translation there. I can't say you definitely got it, but I'm 100% positive that you got that. And we've got the leaders now here coming through Ponchette. They're right about on time. This is usually what happens. The leaders come through Ponchette in around about 50 minutes, and we've got here Joe Gray is coming through in first place, but first place right now doesn't mean a whole lot, because if you look directly behind him, there's a strong group of runners, and they're all coming within 1 second of him. So this is great to see Joe Gray coming along so strongly, and this huge pack of runners behind him coming through as well. We've transitioned here from using cameramen running to now a cameraman on a bike. This is the way it works. We've got a number of different people out there with different cameras, and now we've transitioned onto a mountain bike. I think we've got a couple of electric bikes out there from Giant. Unfortunately, we'd like to give the filmers regular bikes, but the electric bikes do help a little bit.
Donc maintenant, ce sont des vélos électriques qui filment la course. Il y en a plusieurs sur le parcours. Donc les coureurs ont passé Ponchette. Par rapport au temps du record, ils sont à un peu moins de 4 minutes du record. Donc ça va vite, mais Jonathan Noyette avait été encore plus vite.
We should see here we've just had the males go through the first majors checkpoint and the timing strip of Ponchette in around about 50-51 minutes, which is pretty standard. It's kind of what the lead split time normally is for this race, and we should see the women come through that checkpoint as well in around about 9 minutes later, so in about 60 minutes. So for the record, Jonathan Wyatt's record, he actually ran through Ponchette in 47 minutes 52 seconds. So these guys are around about 2 to 3 minutes off that.
3-4 minutes.
It kind of means something, but at the same time, when you look at Jonathan's strength, Jono was an incredible uphill climber, 6 times world mountain running champion. So he would have really been able to do extremely fast or go extremely fast up that first climb, and so I think it's nothing to say that they won't be able to close down that record split time very well, but it's just a little bit of an indication of where these guys are sitting at the moment. It seems, we're all right now. And then we've got Francesco Pape. He's also there in the blue. He's coming along nice and strongly as well. Davide Magini. Here we have Kilian. He's running in the red shorts. Kilian Jornet, 2017 winner. He's won this race 5 times. He's going. If he was to win today, he would break the record for the most number of wins here at Sierre-Zinal. And so I'm sure he's got that in the back of his mind, and he's pretty keen.
Donc ici on a Robbie Simpson, un Mexicain vainqueur de Tour d'Ixence la semaine passée, Joe Gray, Kilian, Francesco Pupi un peu plus derrière avec Davide Manini, et puis encore un Kenyan dans le groupe de tête. Donc ils sont sur la route goudronnée entre Ponchette et Chandolin. C'est assez rapide, c'est environ un peu moins de 20 minutes pour rejoindre Chandolin. Chandolin, l'endroit où est donné le départ des juniors. Juniors qui sont partis il y a 10 minutes il y a une heure de Chandolin.
Just got a little bit of an update. Emily has joined us for the most part of the live recording, and she will be back in just a moment. She's just having a little bit of technical difficulty on her side of things. She's over in Norway at the moment. We're filming here from Zinal, the town of Zinal. So at the finish line, you might hear a little bit of background noise from us, and that's because we're literally standing next to the finish line here at Zinal, whilst Emily is actually in Norway doing this remotely. And we've got the leaders coming through here. This is the gentleman we were mentioning before. This is Robbie Simpson, who recently won a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games Road Marathon. He's from Great Britain. Well, he's actually from Scotland, to be more precise. And Robbie's well known around these parts. He keeps coming back to this race. I think this is the 7th time Robbie's run this race. It might even be the 8th. And he's obviously, again, really now putting on his strengths here, and that's in the flatter section. He's an incredible climber, but he's also a super fast runner on the flat. I think he's got a marathon PB of around about 2:14. So
2:15 on marathon.
2:15. So.
His best time in Sierre-Zinal is 2:33. So it's not the fastest time, but he was always close to the first place. He did 2 times second, 1 times third, and always 13 seconds, 33 seconds, 21 seconds from the victory. So he was very close the last years. And maybe this year will be the good one for him.
For sure. I'd love to see that, especially from someone who is so dedicated to the sport. Robbie is incredibly dedicated to his abilities at running. He really does just do it as almost a full-time thing. He spends a lot of time practicing the craft and really perfecting what he does. Here we have another one of the female runners. She's coming through. I can't really confirm exactly what position she's in at the moment. It'd still be a little bit at the front of the pack, but you can see this uphill is certainly a tough one, and she's still running, but the guy behind her is hiking, and this is one of the big things. You can see that it's a very tough course, especially at the very beginning.
Maintenant, on est de retour avec Lucy Mourigui qui va bientôt arriver à Ponchette. Elle a l'air d'être toujours en tête de la course des femmes. On ne sait pas son avance, mais elle a l'air d'avoir une petite marche par rapport à Michel Maillère, qui, aux dernières nouvelles, est toujours deuxième.
I believe we still have we've got the leader, the female leader here, Lucy Mourigui. She's coming through not far from getting into Ponchette at 7.2 kilometers. If anyone is wanting to look, then what we can do, what you can do if anyone's wanting to look at the split times for this race, there is live timing, and that's available on datasport.com. So Datasport is the timing system that the race here uses, and you can go onto their website at Datasport and look at the live tracking. There's a number of checkpoints and timing mats they have out there, of course. You can see the female leader now is coming into Ponchette. this is a pretty good split. Normally they come through in around about 59 to 60 minutes, and so she's definitely on pace for doing a great time out there today. She's if we look at her split from last year, she came into Ponchette in 59 minutes and 47 seconds, and so she would definitely not be far off that at all right now. She'd probably be almost spot on the same split as she had last year coming into this section.
Donc, en arrière-plan, on voit le Val d'Anivier avec Vercorin, Grimens. Donc là, on est toujours à l'alpage de Ponchette. Lucie Mourgui, la première femme, vient d'arriver. Elle est plus ou moins dans les mêmes temps que lors de sa victoire l'année passée, c'est-à-dire environ 1 heure pour rejoindre Ponchette.
You can see this is the first major aid station. Some runners here have worked pretty hard going up that climb. And it's certainly one of those things where managing your effort going up a climb like that is super important for the remainder of the race. If a lot of people push a little bit too hard going on a climb, largely due to the excitement of the race, due to feeling really good, due to wanting to keep up with certain runners or feeling like they should be in a certain position with certain runners. So it's really interesting to see how some runners will go managing themselves going up that climb. We've switched cameras here again now, and we've got back onto the male field. You've run this section course a number of times, Max. Is this a section? How would you describe this section of the trail? Is it as we see it now, quite easy and not technical at all, very flat?
Between Ponchette and Chandolin is absolutely not technical. It's not always that flat. It's sometimes a bit more steeper, but it goes very fast. It's 70 minutes to Chandolin from Ponchette, so normally they will go in 5-10 minutes.
We've still got Robbie Simpson leading out the race here. And we've got the second group of ladies coming into Ponchette.
The third and fourth
position. Vicky Cruiser and Laura Org. They're coming through now.
So Victoria Kreuzer is the first Swiss girl to pass Ponchette. Near Ponchette, there is a place called the Egelgraben. It's a place where erosion make how to say it? A part of the mountain collapsed. It's 1,500 meters of steep, rocky.
It's kind of like what we would say is a landslide.
Yeah.
The erosion
an enormous landslide, and
it's a very, very interesting landscape here. You can see a lot of the mountains are quite heavily stacked with rock up high, and it makes for this really interesting contrast between lush green forest, as you can see just in the background there, which the runners have run through, and then as soon as it gets a little bit higher, the rock starts to really become exposed.
It's an enormous precipice that happened in the 40th century. So before there was a path from the valley to Ponchette from the other side of the mountain, but now it's impossible to take it because the whole mountain collapsed, and now it's from Chandolin that you have to go to Ponchette.
And we can see here we've got the top 5 runners that came through in that came through in the Ponchette aid station. So we've got Joan Carrera, Kirui, Timothy Kirui.
The two first at Ponchette were the two first in Tour d'Ixence last week.
Which is pretty amazing that they've backed up that race with an incredible strong start to this race here in Sierre-Zinal. It's one of those things that makes me question if they will be able to hold on to that position going forward.
We'll see.
You can feel pretty good at the start of the race sometimes, and I think that may be how they're feeling right now. But we can see also there Kylian Jornet, Joe Gray, and Davide Maggini. They're three guys that are a lot more well known, I would say, in the trail running space. But the other guys are certainly incredible athletes too. We can see here on the live coverage, we've got Sheila Alves and Ida Nilsson coming through the first aid station there. They're roughly around about 5 minutes back on the lead. You can see the live timing at datasport.com, but they're coming through now. I think these two ladies, especially Ida, have their strengths in the flatter section of this race, and this is going to be a real interesting look at how these ladies finish off this race from this point, because they're incredibly talented at the flatter section running, and being 5 minutes behind at this point does not mean a great deal. I was speaking to Max King the other night, and Max King was around about 5 minutes back last year after the climb. And he worked his way through the field and placed third at this race. So just because they're 5 minutes back just now does not mean that they're out of contention for a podium. That's for sure.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the more exciting things about this race.
Yeah, if I remember well, he was 20 seconds last year in Ponchette and was third at the arrival. So one of the particularities of this race is the first one in Ponchette or the first one in Chandelin is almost never the first one in Zinal. I have some stats here in Zinal. Since 2012, the first one in Chandelin wasn't the first one in Zinal. So the last one to make it was Marco De Gasperi when he won in 2012. He was the first one in Chandelin and Zinal, but otherwise all the last winners weren't the first one in Chandelin. Comme je disais, être premier à Ponchette ou à Chandelin, c'est pas toujours synonyme de victoire à Zinal. Depuis 2012, lors de la victoire de Marco De Gasperi, la personne qui est passée en premier à Chandelin n'a pas gagné la course à Zinal.
We've got some footage here of the male leaders. You can see that we've got Joe Gray ahead in blue. We've got in white. I think actually said that the other champion here in the orange and black is from Kenya. Yeah. So we don't actually have his name right now, but he's obviously running super strongly as well. Who would be at the front there? I believe it would be Carrera from Mexico and Robbie Simpson who would be in front of those three. We can see clearly. The other two guys are a little bit ahead. You can just see them there in the white and the blue. They're just out of focus, but that would be Robbie Simpson and Joan Carrera. Sorry, mate, you go.
The Kenyan Timote is a member of a team. It's Run Together as Lucy Morigi and some other Kenyans. It's a team an Austrian team that brings Kenyan athletes in Europe and sends Austrian athletes in Kenya. So it's a partnership between these two countries and athletes from Kenya and Austria.
I think it's a great thing to see a lot of runners come to this race from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible at Sierre-Zinal. There's around about just under 5,000 runners in total. Because the race is run on such a kind of narrow trail, as you can see here. This is a fairly wide trail, don't get me wrong, but a lot of sections it's very narrow, and they have a tourist class of runners, and they also have a more elite class of runners. And the tourist class runners, they take off at 5 o'clock in the morning from Sierre, and they run along the trail. And some of them are coming through the finish line just now, and we can hear them, we can see them coming across. I think the first one came through at around just after 8 o'clock this morning. So as the elite runners, such as the guys we're seeing here on the screen now, run from Sierre all the way to Zinal, they'll pass a lot of the tourist runners that started at 5 a.m. this morning. And I think the idea behind that is to make sure that they're spread out along the course of the.
Yeah, and what's nice with this is that the tourists, as they are called, arrive in Zinal normally before the runners, the best athletes, so they can cheer them. And after the race, there is a big party here in Zinal. Eat is offered to every runners. So we also have the times of the five first women. So it's Lucy Morigi before Michel Mayer, Victoria Kreutzer, Laure Gay, and Simone Troxler. So they are quite close, but there is some small gaps between Lucy and 1 minute between each runner.
Yeah, you can see they're the top 5 women at Ponchet, which is the first major timing point of the race. Not a lot separates them. It's very tight at the moment. Lucy, who's the winner from last year, she's a 2-time winner of this race actually. She's come through just 51 seconds ahead of second place Michelle Meyer. Those 2 ladies are really experienced in this race, and they know exactly what they're doing, where they are, and they're probably playing on their abilities of what they knew was a little bit earlier.
So we are in Chandolin. The main leaders just arrived in Chandolin. And 1 hour 11. And when Jonathan Wyatt broke the record, it was in 1 hour and 6 minutes. So they are 4 or 5 minutes behind the record.
So that's 4 or 5 minutes behind the record split going through Chandelar at the moment. This is where the guys are coming through. So they're at Chandelar at the moment. It's 11.8 kilometers into the race. About 4 or 5 minutes behind the record split, but as Jono said before, this is a part of the run where he backed off. He got a little bit of intel that he was about 10 minutes up on the field, so he backed off at that point. So this is an opportunity for the other guys to really push on and do a little bit more. And I think it's a beautiful day for the record to be broken. It's a perfect day, so it might go that way if everything works well. You can see a couple of the other guys. This is Stefan Wenk coming through. He's a runner from Scott. Also participated in the last couple of Golden Trail Series races. He's a Swiss runner. Being a Swiss runner, winning this race would be quite an achievement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for every Swiss runners or runners from the region close to Sierre-Zinal, it's the goal of every year to be here in Zinal and try to do his best. The last Swiss runner was Mark Lauenstein, who won the race in 2013.
I think, and here's something that we prepared earlier actually. Speaking of the last Swiss national to win the race, Mark Lauenstein in 2013, here he is right now. Mark isn't running today, unfortunately, but Mark, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everybody.
Can you give us a little? Can you describe the feeling you had when you won this race back in 2013?
Well, it was definitely a magical moment for me. I think Max, you will agree. Sierre-Zinal is the one race in Switzerland. I'm getting old, but I did grow up with this race being already magical when I was a kid. My father ran it, and it's a legend. And I never thought I would be able to win this race. And the day it happened, it was more than a dream, which became true. And that's one of the special days that I've.
As I said, you weren't the first one in Chandolin or in Weisshorn. You won the race in the last kilometers.
Yeah. Well, I've always been a good descender, somebody who likes the downhills. So I was fourth in Weisshorn, and I was able to catch up the podium in the downhill. And I am sure that today we will see some big changes starting in Weisshorn. But yeah, to be honest, the strong climbers, I would have expected them to be a bit faster up to Champ-Dolin, and now it's going to be hard for them actually to get Kilian away from them, because now his terrain is starting, and yeah, Joe Gray, we know he's not a good descender. Robbie Simpson, he will, I guess, make a move now if he has a possibility. Up to Hotel Weisshorn, he has to push. If he wants to win this race, he has to go all out now, because he will lose time on the downhill. So it will be very interesting. It's a tight fight, and yeah, the right moves for the win have not been made yet.
Yeah, I think you've definitely made some good points there, Mark. It's because we know the background of a lot of these runners. We know where their strengths lie and where their weaknesses lie. And I think, as you said, this is one of the exciting things about this race, is that the winner isn't the winner until they cross the finish line, and anything can happen leading up to it.
Yeah, especially here in Sierre-Zinal. Every year, the last 10 minutes have been decisive, and I'm very, very excited to see how this will end today. As for the men, but especially for the women, there I think now the race constellation is even more interesting, because there are some runners ahead, some good downhillers which are behind. It's going to be very special.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And so, Mark, just along this section, what is your most favourite section of the race here, and where do you have your best memories in this race?
Well, like every race, the finish line, but no, it's truly the beginning up to Champ-Dolin. It's horrible. It's for every runner. It's just it's slavery work to make your way up there. And then once you get in Champ-Dolin, if you have good legs, the fun begins. You have the great views, you have a playful trail, you have a great atmosphere from the spectators, and almost always a good weather. And look at those pictures. It's just a pure pleasure. Of course, you're hurting, but it's fun. You really enjoy the racing at this point. Yeah.
And we can see the splits now of the first five runners, and as you can see, the first five guys that have come through in Chandeleur, Johan Carrera, Kilian Jornet, Joseph Gray, Robbie Simpson, Timothy Kurui, they're only 2 and 4 seconds apart. So it's basically they've all come through together in one big group, and they're going to. You can see it here. They're still running together right now, so there's no difference there.
I think the Kenyan will drop away from the leaders. Last week in Tour-de-France, it wasn't very fast in the technical parts. So normally he will lose some places.
And he doesn't look strong here. You can read his body language. It's not good. And yeah. If I'm not mistaken, is it Kilian who actually is leading now? And yes, Joe is hurting. You can see it, and I think Kilian got a good day. And yeah, it's it's going to be a tough one. And Robbie, I guess, is trying to keep up. Yeah,
I think exactly right there. I mean, Kilian, when he talks about this race, has often said that when he gets onto the flatter section, this is the most difficult section for him to keep up with the guys that have a lot of good leg speed on the flat sections. So if Kilian's leading along this flatter section of the race, it really is something to be said. I mean, it means that he's having a really good day, and it's going to be super interesting to see him because I don't think there'll be any backing off. I mean, Mark, at this point of the race, when things start to hurt and you get to be really tired, what is it that you do yourself personally to keep that motivation up and to keep really pushing past your personal limits to achieve something?
Well, my
great?
most important tip is not to think about the pain. The pain is normal. The pain, you have to accept it, and then you have to find the flow, to just keep positive. And if you are struggling, then you need the confidence that it's going to pass. And hard moments are in every race. You know they come, but you also have to know that they will pass. So you have to be patient and try to see the positive things in the race, in the day, and keep the negative thoughts away and think positively. That's the only thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant, mate. And at the moment, you were signed up to do this race. It would have been great to see you out there racing today. I have no doubt that you probably would have been in the front pack there. But you've got a little bit of an injury, and is that clearing up? How's that going? And what's the status on that? And when will you think that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a nasty injury because I thought I just twisted my ankle. I wasn't worried. It was 2.5 weeks ago, but it wouldn't heal. And so I did a MRI, and unfortunately we diagnosed a bone bruise. And this can be a quite nasty injury if I don't take it seriously now. So even so, I'm not in a lot of pain. It was very clear that I cannot run today. And now I really hope that my body will react well to the treatment and that soon I'll be jumping around again.
Excellent. So we've got a couple of races left in the Golden Trail series. We're going to head over to Pikes Peak next weekend, which again is a race that you've won over in America. And then we have the Ring of Steel in Scotland, which is on the 16th of September. So can we expect to see you in Scotland racing the Ring of Steel?
Yes, I do have like 5 or 6 weeks to Scotland, and I'm feeling confident now that I'll be back then.
Mm-hmm.
I hope in good shape. I can bike already well, and if everything goes well, I should be back in top shape in Scotland.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to see you in the grand final in South Africa, that's for sure. Sorry, Max.
Ouais. Comme on peut le voir maintenant dans le live, il y a Kylian qui a un peu détaché le groupe. Il y a Robbie Simpson qui essaye de suivre. Et puis les Timothy, Joe Gray et Carrera essayent de perdre le moins de temps possible. Donc ils sont entre Chandolin et Tinouza. Et comme je ne l'ai pas encore dit, Chandolin c'est un des plus hauts villages habités toute l'année d'Europe. C'est à 2000 mètres d'altitude. Il y a environ 100 habitants qui habitent là toute l'année. Et puis Chandolin a accueilli pas mal de personnalités dans ses hôtels ou dans sa région. Konrad Adenauer, par exemple, c'est l'ancien chancelier allemand après la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Ella Maillard aussi, une ancienne skieuse et photographe, aventurière. Corinne Abbey, une écrivaine. Donc Chandolin est assez connu pour son paysage et sa tranquillité. Donc c'est un village situé à 2000 mètres d'altitude, ce qui est assez peu commun.
We just want to say a big shout out to Mark for coming along and saying a few words then. Mark Lowenstein is an incredible athlete. He's won some of the biggest races in the world in terms of the trail running scene, but he's also an incredibly nice guy. And if you do have any questions for Mark, he's actually moderating the Facebook comment feed at the moment. So if you have any comments for him or any questions, then you can put them onto the comment stream on Facebook and Mark will get back to you on that. So we just want to say again a big shout out to him, a big thank you, and hopefully we'll be able to have another chat to him a little bit later on. And we wish him all the best with his recovery for his ankle, and we hope to see him at the Ring of Steel on the 16th of September to round out his Golden Trail Series to get 3 in a row. And I think we've got Emily back.
Yes.
Emily, I know you're a huge fan of technology. Isn't it a great thing?
Yes. But the problem is, I follow the race on Salomon Running Facebook, but I need to charge my phone. I have half an hour now, then I will recharge my phone and I will join you for the finish line.
Brilliant. Sounds good.
Yeah.
We've been following some of the lead runners. There's a really strong pack of gentlemen running in the race. We can see them coming through now in this bit of footage here, and you can see, Emily, that there's a real tight cluster of the front guys here, and it looks like some of them are struggling a little bit. You can see in their body language there's a little bit of there's a bit of tired running form out there. But how do you see it looking at the moment?
Yeah, I have been following the race, as I said, on Salomon Running. So I see the leaders. I see that they are changing positions kind of all the time. It's a big group with Kilian, the Kenyan, the American Joe Gray, Robbie Simpson. And yeah, they are, I think, also helping each other, like pushing the pace, which is great.
I think it's a big thing. Being at a number of races over your career so far, Emily, how does it work at the front of the pack there? Is it after the long uphill where you can't really talk to anyone, when it gets a little bit flatter, a little bit more runnable, do you get a sense of competition, or do you get a sense of camaraderie there? Do people help each other run along, and how does it work at the front of the pack?
Yeah, I think it also depends the race. I think this might be kind of too short race to really be able to share some words, because you're just pushing all the time. So I don't think it's many runners like wasting their energy. And I don't know if we have been talking about the women's top 3. I see some questions about that on Facebook, and it's still Lucy Wambai Murigi who's leading. She's from Kenya, previous winner. And it's Michelle Meyer from Germany who's second. She's only 1 minute behind in Chandelin, which is great. And then we have Victoria Kreutzer. She is 2 minutes behind, 2.5 minutes behind Lucy Wambai in Chandelin, which is a really good race so far from Victoria. So that's the top 3 women in Chandelin.
Yeah, it's you're exactly right. I mean, it's sometimes a little bit hard. We don't always get the choice to play the ladies and the men's competitions. I mean, we definitely want to obviously play them as equal parts of this whole event, because that's the way it is. But sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get the footage in the right place, the right people. So please don't make a mistake. We're not being selective to show the men's race more so than the women's. Sometimes just out there with the technicality of how we work this system, it might be a little bit harder to show the women's race. We might not have the footage, or the people might not be in the right position, but absolutely we want to show the race in equal quantities, that's for sure, because they're both as important to us. So it's something that we do really want to make a priority. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult. We just had a little bit of footage there of Robbie Simpson running along the flatter section, and he's certainly booking it along there. Booking it is an Australian term, I'd have to say, if we're going really fast. You can see the crowd here is pretty big in Chandelin there, Emily. How much does the crowd help you in events like this? I know you were at Sagama this year, earlier on in the season. Is it something that really spurs you on?
Yeah, I think some races where I had really difficult races, the crowd, the people has helped me so much just to get the extra motivation. And I think for sure this race, it means a lot to have people there cheering, giving you energy.
We've got the 2 leaders here. We've got Kilian and Robbie, and they're coming through right now. You can see them coming through super tight together.
Yeah.
They're coming into Hotel Weisshorn.
It's Tinusa. It's the top of a train station, and in the back before we could see the Weisshorn. It's one of the highest mountains in Switzerland. So here we are back in Chandelin with Ida Nilsson. was fifth.
She was testing as woman in Chandolin. She is 5.5 minutes after the leader, Lucy Bambai.
We're cutting out a little bit there, but yeah, we can see Edel Nelson come through. This is Elisa Desco. We've got a little bit of footage of her. She's coming through, and she's also a previous winner as well. I think she won the race in 2013,
she won once,
the same year as Mark Lowenstein. We actually
and Ida running together as 8th and 9th woman.
8th and 9th woman. And this is as you were saying before, Emily, this is the section here which Ida would have the strongest kind of abilities, and in the flutter running section. So I think she's still in a good position. It's the race certainly isn't over for her. We've got some updated time here from the checkpoint of Shambhala, and so it's still super close.
Yeah, we have now the split times. So we see that Lucy Moringhi increased her time and the distance between her and the second and the third. So yeah, she feels good with. I think so. And on flat, she's very strong too.
Lucy Bambai, with this time right here, if nothing big happens, I think she's got it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of probably the section of the run where she's got her biggest strengths, the flatter section. So we see a number of the other female runners coming through right now. Ellie Gordon. There was
Victoria Wilkinson, Sarah Tunstall. Wow, so many now. Ellie Anneli Rosette, Mackenzie Meg. Stevie Creamer.
Yeah, we can really see them all coming through, and they're quite close now, which is great to see. I mean, there's still a lot of competition there for the remainder of the top 10. Sarah Tunstall, a medalist in the World Mountain Running Championship, she's super strong. This is a race that's a little bit longer for her than she normally does, but Sarah's a super strong runner, and she's still got a lot of ability, a lot of chance there. Yeah, there's Meg McKenzie from South Africa. And you can see...
And the top 15 women, they are within 8 minutes from Lucy.
And it's still an incredibly tight race. You can see here that Clarity's coming through. Apparently, unfortunately, Matt's suffered from a little bit of a fever this week, so he's a little bit under the weather. But I'm sure he's still out there having a good time. And we're back here looking at the lead two men. This is Robbie Simpson and Killian coming through the section in between Janusa and Hotel Weissman together. It's good, and you can also see just this is where the area really opens up, where you can really see the views of the valley here. I'm sure you've run this section a few times, Max. Is this
many times? Yeah, it's a famous path. It's called Planet Paths. Saint-Luc and Tinusa is the station of the stars. There is some observatory to look to the stars, and it's a very famous place.
And I know that one of the taglines for Sierre-Zinal is that it speaks about the 4,000 meter peaks.
Yeah, there is many 4,000 peaks near Val d'Anivier. There is Weisshorn, Dent Blanche, Cervin, Bisshorn, Obergabelhorn, Zinal-Rothorn. It's all peaks that are above 4,000 meters, and Sierre-Zinal is called the race or the 4,000 peaks. So it's all during all the race you see the Weisshorn and some high other mountains.
I think how is it said on the back of your T-shirt there? It's pronounced in, how do you say it in French?
In French, it's la course des 5-4000. Donc il y a le Weisshorn, le Zinal-Rothorn, la Dent Blanche, le Weisshorn, le Sierre-Zinal, je les ai un peu tous dit, mais donc ce sont tous des sommets de plus de 4000 mètres qui surplombent le Val d'Anivier. Ils sont tous accessibles depuis le Val d'Anivier, à part le Cervin. Et il y a beaucoup de refuges de montagne qui vous accueilleront avec plaisir au milieu de votre montée vers les sommets.
So we can see we've got Killian and Robbie running through now. What, Emily, reading body language of runners, how would you describe these two guys right now? What would you say about how they're feeling about this point in the race?
Killian is in races, I would say. He's never tired, and Robbie Simpson looks for sure a little different than he did in the beginning of the flat running, but I still say that both are looking old and pushing the pace, but
I think Emily's cut out a little bit there. I'm not sure exactly. Are you there, Emily? Can you hear us?
yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is that I think they both look pretty okay actually for this pace that they are running. Killian is always looking pretty easy when he races, and Robbie is still looking really good, I say.
And this point of the race, like they've obviously put a little bit of a gap on. We can't see any of the other runners directly behind them. Do you think this is a move they've made strategically to put themselves where they are right now?
I don't think it's a move. I think they just go with, like, Robbie is a really talented, very fast flat runner, and he's just using his strength. And I think Killian is just trying not to let him go, as he knows that if you let him go, he will not be able to catch on the flat.
Mm-hmm. I was mentioning before that Killian's mentioned a number of times that this is the harder part of the race for him along the flattest section, but it seems like he's doing okay at the moment in this part. And I think you were saying before that it may be attributed to a little bit of flat air training that he's doing at the moment, that he has been doing.
Yeah, I think it shows that he's prepared. But the last year, I think he was a bit behind Robbie on this section, and now he's keeping with Robbie, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's certainly a good sign for him if he wants to be able to really have a shot at winning this race. And again, I think Robbie's going to know that in the back of his mind that he really has no opportunity here to back off. This is going to be a point in the race where he knows he has to just keep on pushing, because for Robbie in his history of the race, it would mean a lot for him to be able to give everything he's got to be able to get on that podium today.
Yeah, I think he will be there, and I just wish they both could have the number one place, because Robbie is so worth it.
Do you think there'd be any chance of coming through this race, a joint winner? I know that Killian's done it before at Hard Rock, but do you think that this is the kind of race that he would be tempted to do that again, or do you think that's out of the question?
Hard Rock?
No, I mean this race here, Sierre-Zinal. Do you think that two people would ever come over the finish line together holding hands, or do you think it's not that kind of race?
No, it's not that kind of race.
I mean,
2 years ago, when Petro Mamou beat Robbie Simpson, and the year after in Premana he was caught for doping. So I think Robbie deserves it and want to win it.
Yeah, I think that's like a real shame that someone as dedicated as Robbie in this sport got cheated out of a win at a race such as Sierre-Zinal. It's pretty disgusting, for lack of a better word, or I think that's quite an appropriate word. So I think it's one of those things that it'd be great to see him actually be able to enjoy winning officially, as opposed to, due to disqualification of something like doping. But we don't. I guess that's one thing to bring up about the Golden Trail Series is there's a lot of focus on keeping it a fair sport, and we have a health protocol in place to help the elite runners be able to benefit from certain types of testing out when they participate in these races. And Emily, is there something you could just tell us a little bit about the Golden Trail Series? And do you enjoy being a part of the series? I know you've run in Zagama, and next weekend you're going to be at Pikes Peak. And do you enjoy being part of the series? Do you see it's a good thing for the sport? How do you see it going over the next couple of years?
Yeah, like what elite runners want, we want to compete towards the best ones, to prove, like to be best worsen as runners, and to do the really spectacular, legendary races. That's amazing. And depending the series it is, now it's the Golden Trail Series, which is great.
And are you looking forward to traveling over to Pikes Peak next weekend for the race?
Yeah, Pikes Peak, it's a really hard race. It's just straight up and down in altitude, and I'm traveling there mainly because I have a book release, and the race I will enjoy if I be at the start line.
So that's right. You're traveling over there, and you're going to do a book launch for the book that's just come out that you've written. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be doing that in Denver on the 14th of August at Runner's Roost Running Shop. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes, we'll be there.
And so I'm not sure, if there's anyone out there from the American contingent of trail running and you'd like to go to the book launch that Emily will be doing in Denver. It's going to be on this coming Tuesday, the 14th, and she'll be there. What is the plan, Emily? Will you just be signing your books and doing a bit of a speech? How's it going to work for the evening?
Yeah, the evening is we have a community run, and then I think the book release with Kara Goucher is a really good road runner, American inspiring. We share the book release and a bit of snacks and a bit of book signing and talk and just chatting around, mingling, meeting people.
Okay, great. Well,
the runners will soon arrive in Hotel Weisshorn. It's a very emblematic place in Val d'Anivier. It's a big hotel in the mountain that overview all the Val d'Anivier. It's a very emblematic place of the Val d'Anivier. It inspired many authors who write books or comics on the Hotel Weisshorn.
So Hotel Weisshorn is a pretty important part of the race. It's almost the very end of all the climbing in this race.
Yeah, there is still a small climb after the Hotel Weisshorn, but it's almost the highest point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, just to repeat, the runners started in Sierre, which was sitting at an elevation of 560 meters, and then they climb all the way out of Sierre and traverse along the valley walls. When they get to Hotel Weisshorn, they sit at 2,337 meters elevation. So they've done a huge amount of climbing to get up to Hotel Weisshorn, and then from there, it's, as Max said, another additional small climb, and then it really enters into the downhill section of the race, where the downhill runners will be doing a lot of running. And you can see that now that on the screen here with the Sunto movie. Hotel Weisshorn's just after 19 kilometers. And I think what we can do is we can play the other section of the trail from Hotel Weisshorn down to the finish, and we can see that on the elevation. You can see that here. This is Hotel Weisshorn to I'm not sure how would you pronounce it in French.
Barneuse.
Barneuse.
Yeah, it's also an alpage. Asponchette is also an alpage where there is cheese and local specialties are produced.
And you can see that it's a flatter section, and then it goes into starts entering into the downhill. And that's from Hotel Weisshorn, which these guys should not be too far away from. I think if we look at the record splits of people coming into Hotel Weisshorn, it's going to be at around about. The runners should be coming into Hotel Weisshorn at around about 11:48. So it's around about 4 minutes away. They should be entering Hotel Weisshorn, which is another major checkpoint. And then it's going to be really interesting to see what happens from there. Robbie Simpson and Killian are out the front of this race, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be there at the very end. It's still quite a decent way to go, and it's going to be great to see what happens in the last few sections. So Emily, when you travel for your racing, it's quite a common thing for a lot of people to travel to different events. How do you make sure that you're in Norway now, you're going to travel over to America for the next race of the Golden Trail Series at Pikes Peak? What do you do in your travels to make sure that you arrive to the next destination feeling good and feeling ready to race?
I think that's really hard, actually. It's I know a few runners are really good in traveling and seems to not notice the jet lag or anything going the way to you.
Okay.
Donc on est maintenant avec la première femme, Lucie Morigui toujours, qui est entre Tignouza et le Weisshorn.
So, sorry guys, Emily's just dropped out a little bit there. We were speaking to her about traveling and how to manage traveling and being ready for racing. What we've got here is we've got the leader of the female race, Lucy, and she's currently running with a number of about 4 gentlemen there, and she's in the lead in a position in which she's been in a number of times, because this is the exact same position she was in last year when she won the race in 2017 in the lead, and we've got Emily back now as well. And Emily, we're just speaking about the footage that we're seeing here with Lucy Morigui in the lead at this point of the race along the flatter section. What do you think of what she's done here in terms of positioning herself in the field?
I think she's a very clever runner. She pushed the pace in the uphill, and she knows that she's very confident, and she runs very smooth on the flat. You see, she's hardly breathing there, and she just seems to go very, very smooth and easy. She's doing a great race, and I think it would be so hard to beat her.
Do you think, looking at the other runners in the field, do you think that anyone may have the ability to pull her back in, or do you think that she, even with this distance to go in the race still, that she's probably going to have the ability to just keep on what she's doing and run away with it?
I think it will be hard to catch her if we look to her previous races. She just seemed to have a steady pace and continue that, and she's doing really good.
Okay, and we're just trying to make sure that what we've done is we've had to now close the competition for the guessing of the Sunto watch and the finishing time. We started at the very start, and we've now finished. So if anyone is putting up your guesses for the female and the male winner and the finishing time, that's now stopped, and
Okay.
and we'll have to have a look at those results when we see the winners come through and do a bit of a comparison and make sure that you're online in the next coming weeks to see if you're the winner of that competition. And we'll have to have a look at those results when we see the winners come through. So we can see. We've just got a little bit of additional feedback there from, I think, Emily's computer. But We can see the female here, the leader of the race at the moment, Lucy, the 2017 winner, and also the 2015 winner, 2014 winner as well.
Yeah,
And so she's definitely an experienced runner, not just at this race, but also at in many other distances as well. And so she knows what she's doing. She's put herself in a very strong
she won
position
two
to continue
times.
to win.
She won 2 times, and her best times is 2:56. So yeah, we will see if she can beat her best time this year.
I think you're right. It's one of those situations where she's come very close to the course record. She's done it in 2:56, and the record is 2:54. So it's relatively close. It's still a little bit off the record here, but it's a very tough record to beat, and that's why the course record for the female and the male have been standing for so long. Is because they're incredibly strong records, and the runs that the people did were incredibly good, and something which stands the test of time so far.
Yeah, the best times of Oregi on half marathon is 1:10. She's also world champion in 2017 in mountain running. She won Tour d'Aix several times. And best times of.
We can see here. You can see here that Killian is now running alone. It looks like he's separated a little bit from Robbie Simpson. I'm not sure exactly how far
Sorry,
away
guys,
he is.
I'm not sure if you're hearing me, but I need to charge my phone.
Okay. Thanks, Emily. We'll see you soon. Emily's just got to step away from the broadcast just for a little moment. We've found out that it's pretty interesting. I'm not sure if many people know that you actually can't use headphones and charge them at the same time. It's a little bit of trivia you might use at your next trivia night. But still here, me and Max, and we've seen here Killian is running away strong at the front of the field right now, the front of the race.
Donc Kylian Jornet vient de passer l'hôtel du Weisshorn. Il est seul en tête, c'est avec encore qu'il avance sur Robbie Simpson, qui était deuxième selon les dernières informations. Là, il est entre le Weisshorn et Nava. C'est un petit chemin technique où ils vont rattraper progressivement des juniors et des coureurs populaires partis à 5h ce matin. Mais ça va vraiment très vite.
And we can see here that Killian's really putting on the burners. He's doing exceptionally well on this section here. It's one of those sections that is a little bit technical, more technical compared to most other parts of the race, and he's certainly got the ability to push strong along this section here. See a little bit of footage here from Stefan Wenk coming through. He's another guy from Swiss, and he's an exceptional runner too, running for Scott. Do you know which checkpoint this one is here? It's just a little water point. Is it Tenusa that they're coming through here? Or is this Hotel Weisshorn?
It's Hotel Weisshorn. Yeah, it's Weisshorn.
This is Hotel Weisshorn.
You see on the left, Hotel Weisshorn.
Passing through 19.8 kilometers. This is and this is Timothy.
I don't think.
I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Timothy's been at the front of this pack for a while now as well. Coming through.
Davide Manini.
You can see that a lot of these gentlemen were also leading out the race at the very start too, coming out at the very front, coming out the very top of the first climb. A little bit of pause here in the feed that we've got coming through. So again, this is a pretty critical part in the race. Hotel Weisshorn is where the majority of the climbing is finishing off. Then the runners enter into a little bit more of an uphill, then it goes into a flatter section, and then it really is a majority downhill for the remainder of the race. A position that Killian's put himself in here is one of incredible strength, and it's really positive to see him in this position because if he continues on here, he's going to be able to come through in first place. And coming here and winning this race for the 6th time is a pretty important thing, because no one's ever done that in the history of Sierre-Zinal. Sierre-Zinal is 45 years old. This is the 45th edition of the race.
The 45th edition.
And no one's ever been able to come here and win the race 6 times. Kilian's put himself in the position where he's 13 seconds ahead of Robbie Simpson here, as you can see on the screen now at Hotel Weisshorn. And if he can hold that lead, and he's going to be able to, I'm not sure if he'll be breaking the record of Jonathan Wyatt, but
I think they won't break the record, because at the Weisshorn, Wyatt, when he did the record, did 1 hour 42, and now they are in 1 hour 47.
So they're around about 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes off the record pace.
But Wyatt lost a lot of time in the last downhill, so I think they will be in 2 hours 32 or 33 today.
It's going to be super interesting to see what happens in the rest of the field too. Obviously, Kilian Jornet and Robbie, as you can see from the timing there from Hotel Weisshorn, on that flatter section there, Max, they've put just over 2 minutes into the next runner, Johan Carrera, in 3rd place. And the guys that are in the remainder of the pack, in 3rd, 4th, and 5th position, they're incredibly strong runners. Yet Robbie and Kilian have put 2 minutes into them. So
they won 2 minutes on the flat and on a small uphill to the Weisshorn, which is quite impressive.
Super impressive, and I think it goes to show that it's a pretty impressive bit of strength there from Kilian and Robbie Simpson. I'm sorry if you hear that little bit of background noise there. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's been a little bit exciting here for a number of the runners and a number of people that are finishing off their race here that started at 5 a.m. in the tourist category. We say tourist category not to be disrespectful to anyone who's done the tourist category race, but it's just the way they describe the separation between the runners that start at 5 a.m. and then the runners that start at 10 a.m. Max, when will you come and run this race in its full capacity? When will that be?
Next year.
Next year.
No, for the moment my longest race is 20 kilometers, and Sierre-Zinal is 31. So I want to do some long races before going to Sierre-Zinal and try to compete with the best ones.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that says for our business partnership here, Max. You've come and joined me for not even the full race, and you're already saying that you're not going to return next year. Have you not enjoyed it that much being here today on the commentary team?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
That's all right. I'm just saying a really bad joke. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Okay. But I hope to see you here next year, either in the race or here in the commentary room.
I will be on the race.
Okay.
No.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a spot open next year at Sierre-Zinal for commentary. Please send your applications into Mark Lowenstein. He's just over there. He'll be able to receive them on the Facebook commentary feed. And if you do have any questions for Mark or Emily in the Facebook commentary feed, please put them in there. What we've got here is we've got Kilian Jornet in front of the race here, just looking super strong, moving super well, and you can see in the background there that these are some incredible views of the peaks in the race.
The Haut-Bourg-Gabelhorn, the Dent Blanche, and the Zinal Rothorn. It's 4,300, 4,100. It's very high mountains and technical mountains. That's one of the particularities of the Val d'Anivier. It's very famous for mountaineering, and many famous alpinists came in Val d'Anivier for doing this, climbing these mountains.
And so this section of the race, Max, if I'm not mistaken, you can see 5 peaks over 4,000 meters.
Yeah, there is 6.
There's 6
There
peaks.
is 6, but the Bishorn and the Weisshorn is almost the same mountain.
Okay.
But it's 2 mountains. But yeah, for the race, it counts for 1. But there is 6 4,000 meters.
Mm-hmm. And you have climbed them all?
No.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Some are too technical for me.
All right.
For the moment.
I mean, you're a young lad, so I'm sure that in a few years you'll be standing on top of those mountains. It's we've just still got some live footage here from Killian leading out the front of this race here. Max, what do you think he's doing right now? Do you think he's got the strength to continue to run like this?
I think he's trying to increase his leadership, and he will soon arrive in Nava. And no, it's I think the best part for him.
So what we're going to do just now, Max, is we're going to play a little bit of a video from Ida. Ida did a little bit of a video for us leading up to Sierre-Zinal about the equipment she'd use. It's quite a hot day out there, so a lot of people would be wearing quite well-breathing product and a lot of lightweight clothing to make sure that they can manage their way through this race without sweating too much, etc., not overheating too much. So with that, we're going to play a little bit of a video of Ida, and we're going to play that right now, just to give you a bit of an insight to what some of the elite runners will be wearing out there in this race today.
Hello, my name is Ida Nilsson, and I'm going to run Sierre-Zinal. The race is 30 kilometers, so I want to be as light as possible when I run this race. And first I have the briefs, like a kind of underwear you can have under the shorts, and the sports bra. And then I use the light short shorts, socks and shoes, and maybe a bandana to keep the hair away. Even though it's a short race, I don't want to be super cold. And if it's that, maybe I would choose like a t-shirt instead to wear under. Or I could also go for still having the singlet, but putting like the arms on. Because that's really nice. If I can start with this, or maybe I'm super warm in the uphill, I just go like this, and then I get up of the forest, and it's windy and cold, and I can put this up. It's a good thing when you can't decide if it's cold or not, and you don't know when you start running, and because it's so short, and I don't need much energy or much to drink or anything, so I would go for just to wear a belt around my waist. I think this is also an option. It's really what you prefer, because this is also very light and comfortable, and you can have some extra water or sports drink and room for more gels. Yeah, shoes. I would choose the normal sense if it's just dry and nice conditions, because it's not very technical. You go uphill and then it's flat and a nice trail. But maybe it's gonna be raining or super muddy, so maybe I need a little bit better grip in the uphill, and then I would choose the soft ground, but still the sense. Yeah, good luck to everyone. It's racing Sierre-Zinal. I'm really looking forward to this race. It's gonna be great.
Howdy, we're back again.
Right?
I hope that gave some insight into what, I mean, especially Ida will be wearing out there today. And it gives you a little bit of insight into how this race is run and the thought that goes into the race prior to it in terms of the equipment that's used. There's a lot of lightweight product out there that people can use these days, and I think it really does help. I mean, Max, do you think about the equipment you use for races as well?
Yeah. Before the race, I try different pair of shoes, depending on the weather the day before. If it rains, I take different other kind of shoes. if it's flat or technical, I take some different choices. Yeah.
And you think it can really have an impact on your ability to run the best race that you can?
Yeah, I think so. It has also a mentally aspect. So yeah, I like feeling good in my shoes and believe that it's the better shoes for the conditions for the race.
Yeah. We've got a bit of a race overview here. And it's really interesting to see. Everyone starts in Sierre and they come through this big climb here up to Ponchette. That's at 6.85 kilometers. You can see that it's still a little bit of climbing, but a lot flatter as you go on the way to Chandolin. The majority of the climbing is done. You can see here that they traverse more or less along the valley wall here, and then they make a lap to Hotel Weisshorn, which is where Kilian and a number of the top men have passed through not too long ago. There's just a little bit more of a climb, and then you can start to see the descent as they come back down towards Zinal, which is near the end of the race here. And that's at 31 kilometers. And total is around about 2,000 meters, just over 2,000 meters of climb in the whole race here. Max, if you were running this race, would you take any gels or any nutrition on?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would take one in Ponchette and one in Weisshorn. I think 2 for me would be enough, and drink regularly some water.
Yeah.
Because it's hot today, it's sunny, and it's quite a long race for me.
Yeah, and I think it's a great insight because you're an exceptionally talented runner, and it's great to get a bit of an insight to you. I mean, you ran the race Thion-Dixon not long ago, last weekend, yeah, and you placed third or second there.
Third, yeah.
Third place, yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to see for me because the guys who was second, just 11 seconds in front of me, is third actually today. So. I'm not saying that I would be this place because they are so incredible examples for me, but I hope next year I would not be too far from them.
Now, we've got some pretty incredible footage here. This is the leader, Kilian, running along the section just after Weisshorn. It's Hotel Weisshorn to Nava.
Yes.
It's the next point in the race where Kilian will be able to get some water. I think he might have even passed Nava already. But
yeah, Kilian passed Nava. Yeah.
Kilian's passed Nava. So Kilian should be around about 23 kilometers into the race now, as he's passed Nava already. And Nava is just at 22.5 kilometers into the race. So what's going to happen pretty soon is he enters into an even steeper downhill, which is really his strength, and we're going to be able to see him really push and maybe even put a little bit more of a lead on the rest of the runners. And you can see in that footage before, the drone footage, actually using a drone called that's produced by the company Parrot. It's the Parrot and Affy drone, and that's the drone that was able to show that footage just before of Kilian. And right now we're back to one of the runners filming, and they are coming along behind Michelle Meyer. Now, Michelle Meyer's got a bit of a history at this race as well. She won the race in 2016. She's an incredibly talented runner, and she also came second last year in the race in 2017. She's a runner from Germany, if I'm correct, and she runs for Adidas, is how we would say it in Australia, but I think it might be pronounced Adidas. Not 100% sure on that, but either way, Michelle's doing a great job here as she comes into
Weisshorn. Yeah.
She comes into Weisshorn now. I think she would definitely know where she is in regards to marrying up her feelings and effort level with the course itself, and knowing what she has to do to either catch Lucy, who would be in the lead at the moment, or to hold her position in second place. what we can do is play a little bit of a recap of Kilian as he came through Hotel Weisshorn a little bit earlier on in the race, just to give you a bit of an idea of a bit of a up-close idea of how he's going. So this here is the footage from the Parrot and Naffy drone as Kilian comes into Hotel Weisshorn.
So there is a checkpoint in Weisshorn because it's almost the top of the race, and I have some interesting stats. I would speak some French now. Donc on arrive à l'hôtel du Weisshorn, on est presque au sommet de la course. Ça c'est une vidéo prise par un drone lors du passage de Kylian Jornet en tête à ce moment-là de la course. Actuellement il est entre Nava et Barneza. Donc il devrait arriver à Zinal dans environ 25 minutes, je pense. En tête chez les femmes, c'est Lucie Morigui devant Michel Mayer, qui vient de passer à l'hôtel du Weisshorn. Chez les hommes, derrière, pas très loin derrière Kylian, il y a Robbie Simpson. Et puis derrière se suivent un Kenyan, un Mexicain, Joe Gray, un Américain. Et puis pas très loin derrière, Francesco Poppi, Stéphane Wenck, David Emanini, qui tous ont encore une carte à jouer dans la descente. Donc là, on est juste après l'hôtel du Weisshorn. Donc, il y aura une petite montée et puis la course emprunte un long chemin qui descend progressivement jusqu'à arriver à Zinal, 12 km plus loin.
So you can see here, guys, this is the drone footage we have of Kilian coming through Hotel Weisshorn earlier on in the race. That was just before 20 kilometers. You can see here that Kilian is quite far in the lead, and now he's surpassed that point in the race. But this is just some replayed footage of him coming through with the drone, and it's pretty incredible to see this kind of footage. There's a bit of a drone party out there, obviously. We're here watching this footage from a Parrot and Naffy drone, but you can see another one just there floating around too. Please use drones responsibly and make sure you've got a license to use them. But just a bit of a word of advice there. But this is replayed footage of Kilian coming through, and you can see this is a beautiful part of the Sierre-Zinal course here. Hey,
it's
Max.
one of the most beautiful part of the race. You have you can look to all the 4,000 meters. Donc on voit tous les 4000 quasiment depuis l'hôtel du Weisshorn. C'est vraiment un endroit emblématique du Val d'Anivier. Ça a été construit à la fin du 19e siècle. Et puis ça a connu un incendie, puis reconstruit. Ça a inspiré des artistes, des écrivains. Même une bande dessinée a été écrite dans la région du Val d'Anivier, une histoire d'attentats terroristes. Donc c'est vraiment un endroit très connu et très emblématique de la région.
You can see a little bit of a split there from the female leaders. Lucy came through Hotel Weisshorn in 2 hours and 6 minutes, and you can see that Michelle Meyer is only 1 minute behind her, which in this race is not too much. I believe we have the other runner here. I'm pretty sure her name is Simone, and she's coming through now. Possibly in third position, we can't confirm that exactly, but she's having a really strong race as well.
On voit là que Michel Mayer a repris du temps à Lucy Wambi. Elle avait 1 minute 30 de retard, sauf erreur, à Chandolin. Là, elle a plus d'1 minute de retard, donc rien n'est joué pour Lucy Morigui aujourd'hui. Ça peut encore reprendre pas mal de temps dans la descente. Donc, ça va être intéressant de suivre cette course pour la première place.
I think that was it looked like Max King, but I don't think it was Max King. It was red shorts.
I hope not for him, if he's only now in Weisshorn.
Yeah, it would be a tough day out for him, but I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, at the start line I saw him in the red shorts. And when Max puts on the red shorts, it's game on.
That's Ruth Croft.
This is New Zealand coming through. She's doing exceptionally well in the Golden Trail Series rankings. And again, in this race, she's put herself in a really good position here to finish off strong. This is a section of the race that would really play to Ruth's strengths as she comes through. This small little bit of a climb and then a flatter section in the downhill. Ruth's really talented in this type of terrain, and she'll definitely be able to cross. I think she'll definitely be able to come through the field a little bit more from the position she's in right now. Just playing towards her strengths, and that's a great race so far from Ruth, and we'll see.
Yeah.
So she's, again, like we just saw Simone come through the Hotel Weisshorn checkpoint, maybe only about 30 seconds ahead of Ruth there. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the rest of the females race plays out there, because third position is certainly up for grabs. They're about 4.5 minutes behind first position, as you can see there, just from the timings from Hotel Weisshorn. So it's going to be a really, really interesting race still in the females race. And we see here now we're filming behind the female leader of the race, Lucy, and she is super strong in this section, 1 minute ahead of second place. She's been in this position before. She knows what's ahead of her, and I think that it's still a race for first place with her and Michelle Meyer. Michelle Meyer, who was the 2016 champion, Lucy, who's the 2017 champion. They both put themselves in a position to capitalize again on being there for the first place.
Ouais, je pense que Lucie Morigui, si elle continue sur ce rythme-là, elle va devoir quand même batailler avec Michelle Mayer, mais la première place chez les femmes se jouera aux alentours des 3 heures, ce qui est déjà un excellent temps. La troisième est pour l'instant à 4 minutes, un peu plus de 4 minutes. Donc déjà, ce sera plus dur de revenir. On devra plutôt essayer de se concentrer sur sa 3e place, vu que même jusqu'à Zinal, rien n'est joué. Donc là, on voit vraiment bien en arrière-plan tous les quelques 4000 du Val d'Anivier. Donc là, pour les femmes, elles sont entre l'hôtel du Weisshorn et Nava. Alors que les premiers sont à Barneza, sauf erreur.
Emily, how are you?
Hello, I'm back again to the finish line.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yes.
So we've got a little bit of an update here, Emily. We've just explained to the audience that Lucy is in first position still. She came through Hotel Weisshorn at 19.8 kilometers, 1 minute ahead of Michelle Meyer in second place. She's coming through Hotel Weisshorn. Then Simone is coming through in third place through Hotel Weisshorn. And it's going to be a really interesting bit. Lucy was coming through in about 2 hours and 6 minutes. 1 minute behind her was Michelle, and then 4 minutes and just under 30 seconds was the third place position female Simone.
Yes,
coming through.
It's very exciting. I'm following the race closely. You can follow it on sport.com as well to see all the live dates. And it's 9 women who has been passing Hotel Weisshorn now. And as you say, it's Lucy, Michelle, Simone, it's Ruth Croft, number 4. 5 is Kreutzer Victoria, 6 Laura Orge, 7 Megan Kimmel, 8 Elisa Descu, 9 Ida Nilsson. So it's really exciting.
And do you think so 9 women have passed through just under 20 kilometers, and do you think that there's still a lot of time for the positions to change in this race?
I think it's possible to change number 3 position, like Simone. I think it will be hard to catch Lucy and Michelle. Like Michelle is doing a great race. She's only 1 minute behind Lucy Van Bij from Kenya. So that's possible, I think. But then for Simone to catch Michelle, I think it will be hard. But for sure, the 3rd position is open as I see it.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. It's going to be I saw Simone run through Hotel Weisshorn, and she was looking okay, but she definitely looked like she'd put a lot of effort into getting to where she was. It's going to be really interesting, I think. The other girls may have looked a little bit smoother coming through Hotel Weisshorn, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, and Ruth Croft, she often starts the race slow for being her. And I think she has a lot of power now. And Ruth is almost 2 minutes behind Simone. So I think she can catch a third position if she have power, which I think she got.
Emily, I don't know if you know the gentleman here. This is Pablo Vigil.
Yes.
Pablo Vigil.
The leaders of the race here. This is the female leaders here coming through.
Yeah.
This is Lucy, and we've got Emily here as well with us. She's over in Norway at the moment. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're unaware, this is Pablo Vigil. He's a 4-time winner of the race Sierre-Zinal, first winning in 1979, then going on to win in 1980, 1981, and 1982. Pablo, how's your day been?
Exciting. I'm very nervous as well. I feel like I should be in the race.
I feel like you should be
exciting, but yeah, it's a great day. Weather, the competition. I think it's a great day. There may be a new record today.
You think, eh?
It could be. It's a little bit warm, but it's almost perfect conditions. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Killian is now out in front. It looks like he's got a pretty comfortable lead. Do you think he can hold on to that?
Well, I think he will, and I think the steeper it gets downhill, the meaner he's going to get. And I think if he breaks away coming down the last 4 kilometers, I don't think anyone will catch him unless he just trips on a rock and something drastic happens. But he's an extra incredible kamikaze downhill runner.
He certainly is, yeah.
But anything can happen, I mean, it's still it's not over until it's over.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
Pablo, I remember you were telling me the other day in 1982 when you were coming up against the opportunity to win the 4th consecutive Sierre-Zinal. You said that you tripped on a rock and you split your hand open.
I did, and sometimes it's very easy to start daydreaming out there. And just that, I had a comfortable lead at just past Hotel Weisshorn, and I just started daydreaming. And next thing you know, I'm flying through the air, and I land on my hand, and I cut my thumb open clear to the bone. So you really, you can't really look around. You really have to stay in the moment and focus on it, because those rocks are alive, and they jump out in front of you sometimes, or it may be a tree,
And what happened when you split your hand open? Then I remember you telling me that it was the opportunity to do something that no one else has ever done in this race, and that was to win 4 times in 4 times in a row. And what was it that went through your head to make sure that you didn't just give up because of an injury?
Yeah, well, the possibility of winning 4 consecutive times, 4 times ever was that kept me motivated. But also after I tripped and fell on my thumb, it kind of woke me up and made me realize that I gotta just refocus, and I could still get my ass kicked. So you really gotta once again just be well focused and in the moment, because it really isn't over until it's over. Killian, other runners have been passed in the last 100 meters. So you really have to be alert and be aware that anything can happen anytime.
Is that also how you race, Emily? Do you have things that keep you awake during a race so you don't daydream and get caught up in other things besides racing?
It depends the race. Like if I do really long races, sometimes you need to daydream to just take away the many hours that you have been running to focus on something else. But for sure, if it's a short 2, 3, 4, 5 hours race, then then it's really good to focus all the time. But I'm pretty good on doing that. I really enjoy being in the moment and watch everything closely, enjoy everything.
Yeah. And what can you say about the beautiful view that we have here running Sierre-Zinal? Does that tempt you into the race at all, Emily, to run along here?
Yes, for sure. Like I have been dreaming of doing Sierre-Zinal for some years now, but as we talked about before, I have other goals, and I want to do Sierre-Zinal when I really focus on it to train flat and to train more uphill. So for sure, it's a race that I want to enjoy one day.
Nice. Pablo, do you have any words of advice for Emily when she finally comes to Sierre-Zinal and races it for the first time?
Well, Emily Forsberg, right?
Yeah.
Hello, Emily.
Yeah. Hey.
First of all, she's got probably the greatest coach in the world with the greatest experience. And I don't know if I really could give her any real advice other than to come in well prepared and have a great time and enjoy it. And I hope she has a great effort and the best race that she can possibly have. But just really enjoy it and have a great time. And I think that's what her and Killian are always doing. They make it hard work seem so easy. So they're always looking like they're having a great time, even when they're racing. So I certainly could learn a lot from them in skimo and rock climbing because I'm a big fan of theirs. So just enjoy it. Have a great time. Great to see you, Emily.
Thank you, Pablo. You too.
Thanks so much, mate. I'm sure we'll definitely be seeing you out of the finish line a little bit later on, and we'll see you later on tonight. Apparently, you're the man that makes the party afterwards happen. So
I don't know.
we'll see what happens there. All right. But, thanks so much for joining us, Pablo. You're a true legend of this race and also the sport, and your ethos behind how you do it is something that a lot of people can learn from. So thanks a lot, man.
Well, thank you, and best of luck to all runners and the organization and you guys for putting on a great event. Thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, adios.
So Emily, we've lost a bit of the live feed just now, but we can see here that this is a bit of drone footage from Lucy running through after the section of Hotel Weisshorn down through Nada. It's pretty amazing footage we've got here. Hey, if you
Yeah, it is. And the live footage we seen the closest on Lucy is that she looks like she's struggling a bit, and they think that she hasn't been eating enough energy, like gels. So let's hope that she can still keep the pace that she has.
Yeah, I mean, if Killian is to come through anytime soon, it's going to be pretty close to the record because he's the record. If the record comes through, it's going to be in just over 2 minutes because the record sits at 2 hours and 29 minutes. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have to step away from the footage here, and I'm going to go and do some filming out near the finish line. And what's going to happen is I'll be able to film from the finish line, and we're going to be able to see if Killian is the one to come through and be the winner of the race. Which is going to be super exciting to see. So you can see here.
So let's hope he's close to the finish line now, Killian.
Yeah, we really hope so, because it's going to be really interesting to see if he comes through in first place. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to stand up and
Donc on était avant avec Pablo Vigil ici à Zinal. Il nous disait que donc Pablo Vigil il a gagné 4 fois à Sierre-Zinal consécutivement. Je lui demandais à quoi il pensait une fois qu'il passait le Weisshorn en descente avec les beaux paysages, les beaux 4000 en arrière-plan. Il disait que lorsqu'il s'était mis à relever la tête, il était tombé, il s'était blessé à la main. Donc, quand on a des courses de 2-3 heures pour les premiers, avec la vitesse à laquelle ils vont, c'est très dur de regarder le paysage. Mais c'est sûr qu'à l'entraînement ou lors de la connaissance du parcours, on prend énormément de plaisir à lever les yeux et à regarder le parcours. Mais en course, on aimerait bien regarder le parcours, mais c'est trop dangereux. C'est trop dangereux. Donc là,
And
maintenant,
Michael, I think now we are seeing the finish line.
Yes, we are in Zinal. It's 500 last meters.
Yes, so it's 2 hours 28 minutes now,
Yeah,
and hopefully
so
we will see Kilian running there soon.
Yeah, I hope so. So the record is in 22 seconds. If you want to break the record, you have to be there in 22 seconds. So it will be hard. We'll see when he arrives.
So the current record is Jonathan Wyatt, and the time was 2:29:10, right?
12, yes. 2:29:12.
Yeah, so he's still, no, it's gone now.
Yeah, no, it's impossible.
Yeah,
But
but
maybe
the latest news we have from the guys is that Kilian is leading and Robbie Simpson is second.
Yes, but we don't know who is third now.
No, but we will see soon by the finish line here. And for the women, we have we can take it a bit quick. Lucy Wumbai is leading with 1 minute over
Michel Mayer, yeah.
Who was Michel Mayer. And
that
then
was
third
in
is
Bison, yeah.
Yeah, and third is Simone, and Ruth
Yes.
Croft is fourth.
Yeah.
And let's focus on the finish line because Kilian will be there pretty soon.
Is 500 meters of the finish line. Donc, j'apprends à l'instant que Kilian Jornet est à 500 mètres de la ligne d'arrivée. Il commence à avoir du bruit ici à Zinal. Il y a du monde. Il y a du monde pour l'accueillir et pour accueillir les meilleurs coureurs au monde.
It's so exciting now.
Donc c'est Kilian Jornet qui s'imposera aujourd'hui à Zinal. Très impressionnant aujourd'hui en montée, sur le plat, en descente. Comme à son habitude, il a survolé la course. Ouais, il vient de... Kilian Jornet vient de franchir la ligne d'arrivée en 2h31 et 48 secondes environ à ma montre. Vraiment un temps impressionnant, un des meilleurs temps de tous les temps. Donc il finit à 2 minutes 30 du record de Jonathan Wyatt. On verra maintenant qui arrive deuxième. Ça devrait être Robbie Simpson qui était au contact Kilian Jornet au Weisshorn. Voilà. Robbie Simpson est à 300 mètres de la ligne d'arrivée.
Boom, Kilian. How about that? And so that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Kilian Jornet set a record for winning Sierre-Zinal 6 times. A record that no one else has been able to do in the history, the 45-year history of the race. Kilian Jornet has come here and won 6 times, surpassing the record that he and Ricardo Mejiu held. Now he's passed that record, winning this race 6 times.
C'est la 6e victoire de Kylian Jornet ici à Sierre-Zinal. C'est un record de victoire.
It's an amazing achievement here for Killian. And we've got second place runner coming through now as well. This is Robbie Simpson. And this is the way it happened last year. Killian coming through first, Robbie in second. You can see that those guys are just hurting so much.
Et le
And this is
troisième
Timothy Kurui.
est Kenyan.
It's an amazing effort here by these three guys. That's such a close race. Obviously, Killian ran away from the lead there, but these three guys have come through. And that's it. That's set for the day. That's the podium for Sierre-Zinal for 2018. Three incredibly talented runners coming through today.
It's
Robert?
yeah, it's not
It's not Timothy, huh?
No.
It's Robert.
Le troisième, c'est le Kenyan Robert Panin-Souro. Il est très impressionnant en descente. Déjà, il y a 2 ans, il avait réussi le meilleur temps entre Weisshorn et Sierre-Zinal, pardon. Donc à nouveau cette année, il a fait parler de sa vitesse et sa facilité, son aisance dans les parties techniques. Il prend la 3e place devant tous les coureurs qui le précédaient durant toute la course.
Robert Payne Suram. He's the third place runner who came over the line after Killian and then Robert.
And the fourth seems to be Francesco Pupi. Le quatrième a l'air d'être l'italien Francesco Pupi. Un jeune coureur très talentueux qui a déjà terminé 3e il y a quelques années à Sierre-Zinal. Qui est champion du monde de longue distance de course de montagne, qui a remporté la dernière coupe du monde de course de montagne à cette passée en Italie. Vraiment impressionnant et un jeune très talentueux.
This is a great run here, Francesco Papi. Super strong, young gun, and he's been able to prove himself in a number of different races. He's coming through here in 4th place at Sierre-Zinal, which is an incredible run by the young Italian. That's just such an epic run in the company that he's done that run in with. It's super impressive, and from such a young guy, he's got an incredibly bright future ahead of him. That's Francesco Papi. So we're just going to sum it up, guys. That's Killian Jornet for the win here at Sierre-Zinal. Robbie Simpson again placing in 2nd place, similar to last year. And then we've got the 3rd place runner, Robert Panin from Kenya, and he's come through and he's again had an incredible run. He's running for a team you were explaining a little bit about before.
Yeah, the team Runner Together. It's an Austrian team that invites Kenyan runners to Austria and sends Austrian runners to Kenya.
And then we've got Davide Magini coming through in 5th place. An incredible run from Davide as well. He was coming through, in 1st place at the top of the climb there at the very beginning of the race, but he's coming through now in 5th position. So to run the race that he's run, leading out from the front and to hold on all the way to 5th position 31 kilometers later is super impressive and a really, really great run from Davide.
He's only 21 years old. David Emani à l'écran, il est 21 ans. Un skieur alpiniste aussi.
A real young gun of the sport, but he's really come through and he's had an amazing run here.
On a les coureurs qui sont tous assis à côté de nous par terre de la ligne d'arrivée. C'est un plaisir de les voir au bout de l'effort.
It's a little bit rough.
D'être arrivé.
You can see us looking over our shoulder here, but we've literally got the finish line, 2 meters away from us. And I've just been looking at Francesco Papi, who was just really passed out on the ground there. He's really put in a hard effort there. There's a lot of pain on his face, but he's all right. Don't get me wrong, he's all right. He's in good hands, but he's definitely pushed it to the limit in this run today, which is super impressive to see, and something that's that means that there's a lot of life left in these young guns that are coming through this sport, and such an impressive run today from Killian, who really ran away from from the rest of the competition to win. It's super impressive. Stefan Wenk coming through here, I believe in 6th position. He would be the first Swiss runner coming through. Stefan would be really happy with his run out there today. I'm sure he'd like to go a little bit better in such an iconic Swiss race. The last Swiss runner to win this race was Mark Lowenstein back in 2013. But right now we've got Stefan Wenk coming through, running for Scott, placing in 6th position. And just from looking at him come over here, he looks like, I think he's actually in 7th position. Because one of the other American guys has already come through, but it's Stefan Wenk will be coming through for Scott. And there's a Swiss runner running on the home turf here. He'll be super stoked with that effort.
Il y a vraiment plein de monde à Zinal maintenant pour accueillir les premiers coureurs et les premières coureuses qui devraient arriver dans une vingtaine de minutes environ. Donc, le classement à l'écran, c'est Kylian Jornet devant Robbie Simpson et le Kenyan Robert Panin, fini à 7 secondes de Robbie Simpson. Très impressionnant dans la descente.
You can see there's 2.5 minutes separating first and second place there, and then 7 seconds separating second and third place there. Robbie and Robert coming through in second and third respectively. Only 7 seconds separating them. A little bit off the lead. Kylian Jornet, that just had such a stomping run there. It was super amazing to see. A really, really great effort. And you can see here we've got Joe Gray coming through. And I think if we've got it correctly, Joe Gray would be in either 8th or 9th position as he comes through. Both of these two guys finishing together. That's a run there by Joe Gray, and I think he may be a little bit disappointed. Joe Gray has come through this race before, and he's run through and come in 2nd place here before. So to finish a little bit further back in the field would be, I think, a little bit disappointing for Joe, especially a runner of such high caliber. But just finishing these races is super impressive as well. And to finish it in that position in such a intensely competitive field, I think is something to be applauded as well. I don't think anyone would have been taking any shortcuts out there today. It would have been a very tough effort and a very tough run for everyone out there. So we've got to applaud that kind of a result for someone like Joe coming in as one of the favourites with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. But,
Robert Kupica just passed.
And Robert Kupica, as Maximo just said.
Marco De Gasperi, I think. Max King.
There we go, as Max King, someone through in the red shorts. A little bit further back than what he did last year. Last year he came from 3rd place this year. A little bit further back, I think just outside the top 10. But I'm sure Max put everything he could out there. That's Henry Unzo from Finland. He's coming through as well, finishing off strong. It's a tough downhill to finish on. I don't think there's any place to escape on this downhill. You can see one of the cameramen cyclists going up the final descent here. Just backtracking on the course a little bit. What did you think, Max? Is that what you predicted? Is that what you thought would happen today?
The 2 first, yes, but I hoped they would run faster and try to break the record. It's always nice when someone win and break the record, but yeah.
I think it's something to be said about Jono Wyatt's record. It stood for 15 years, now 16 years. It hasn't been broken. I mean, to some extent, it really hasn't been, touched. When you look at how close this race is in terms of the finishing times, there's still a little bit of room there that Jono's got on a number of the other finishes in the races since he set that record. And I think it's just goes to show you what an incredible run he had back in the day, because no one's been able to touch it. It didn't get broken today, although one record did get broken, and that was for the most amount of wins here at Sierre-Zinal. Kylian has now got 6 wins here at Sierre-Zinal. more than any other runner. And I think that is something that is super impressive when you compare it to the competition level that comes
the
every
high
year.
level of the race, the skills that you need to have to win such a race. It's very impressive to win it 6 times. It's huge. It's awesome.
We've also got a little bit to say, Killian came back from breaking his fibula just recently at the Mont Blanc Marathon, which was the first race he participated in the Golden Trail Series. And this is the second race, and it's really incredible to see him come through and put on such an amazing performance. 2 races in a row after such a significant injury. It really goes to show what kind of an athlete he is in terms of his ability to recover, in terms of his ability to race, mentally and physically as well. It cannot be easy to come back from such an injury, and to do what he's done is super impressive. We're backtracking up the course a little bit here. The female record is 2 hours and 54 minutes, which is 10 minutes away. We've got one of the cameramen backtracking up the course here to hopefully find the first female leader. And we're expecting that to be the Kenyan Lucy, and she is running for the team. And this is, she's running for the team. Runners to be free. What is the team name again that Lucy is running for, and the third place guy? The team that the Kenyan in third place is running for.
Sorry?
The name of the team.
The team is Run Together.
Run Together.
Yeah.
And so Lucy also runs for that team. The
Yes,
lady who's in
team.
first place at the moment. And do you know if it's a big team that they have, or is it a small team?
No, it's a big team. They win all the races in Austria, Germany for the last 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
So it's really an impressive team with Robert Soum, the third runner, Lucy Murigi, Timothy, that was in the front of the race during half of the race. No, they have many strong runners. That's Jonathan Schmidt, a Swiss runner.
He recently won the Swiss Alpine Marathon 40K43, which runs out of Davos. It's a great run from Jonathan. I believe Jonathan was a Swiss champion recently at the Swiss National Championships, and he's come across the line there, looking pretty spent, just behind Thibaut Barogna, who also has put in a great run today. I think he will be a little bit disappointed he hasn't been up in top 10, Thibaut, but Thibaut's an exceptionally good runner, and he'll surely be able to back it up again in another race.
avant 9h. On rencontre de 2h36 minutes et 43 secondes. 2 minutes d'avance sur l'allemand Michel Mayer. Troisième, Simone Tochter. Et quatrième, Victoria Kreutzer. Lucie Morigi, champion du monde du course de montagne en 2017, vainqueur à Tour-Distance en 2018, 2017, 2015 et 2014, avec un record à la clé. Première l'an passé et en 2015 à Sierre-Zinal, deuxième de la course de Strasbourg. Cette année, Lucie Morigi, elle devance l'allemande Michel Mayer, vainqueur ici il y a 2 ans. Sympathiquement, terminé deuxième du marathon de la Ultra et deuxième cette année à Tour-Distance. Et l'arrivée de Paul Watson, l'américain, qui termine 38e dans la catégorie en 2,49,50. L'arrivée de Sierre-Zinal, dans un temps de 2,50,00. Magnifique performance, toute une athlète qui réussisse Sierre-Zinal au-dessus des 2,50. Et bravo à Anaïs Morel de Bassin qui termine en 3h05,22. La 40e place au scratch. Et trouve dans le ladder, il termine en 2h50, 55 secondes. Arrivée du Colombien William Rodriguez, 2,51,04. Le 51 Hannes Bergman termine en 2,58,19, 43e.
Si no puedes hasta aquí, podría haber no darrere, que no fisio.
J'y vais. Tu dois pas être branché. Allez. Tu dois pas être branché, j'y vais. Remets-toi sur le lien.
Hey, coming down here, guys. Just, ladies and gentlemen, we've just got a bit of a. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have with us as we watch the final female come down the downhill. we've got two guys here. So do you want to pull over here? Take a seat. We've got the two guys. You want to have a seat? So this is the two guys of the day. This is Kilian Jornet here and Robbie Simpson coming through in first place and second place. Kilian, how are you?
Good. It was a nice fight with Robbie all the way. From Paul said, we were the two of us kind of fighting all the way. So it was cool. It was nice. It's always hard here.
And in terms of, you've come here and you've won the race now 6 times, and it's a record for Sierre-Zinal. Are you happy with that? Was that in the back of your mind at all?
I'm happy to have been participating 8 times. It's a wonderful race. All the editions are special. It's always very hard for me. This year I has been training in flat, so it was cool to feel that he could keep up with these guys in the flattest parts, and it's always a nice adventure.
And Robbie, how did you feel out there, mate? This is the second year in a row you've had such a great race. So tell us about it.
It was really good. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to be able to stick with the group on the uphill. So normally, I lose a bit of time there, and then when it flattened out, I pushed quite hard and felt really good. So I'll just run near the front and see what happens. But I knew I really needed to be at least 1.5 minutes ahead of Kilian before the last downhill. And, I was behind him. So he got away from me just going up to Weisshorn. And I thought, I just need to try and save a bit of energy and make sure I can run well in the last part and at least hold on to second. And then I just held on to second, actually, because I was coming right down the road really fast, just sprinting, thinking, I'm really enjoying this. And then I finished, and then the other Kenyan runner was just behind me. I was like, didn't see him there. So,
yeah, mate, you came in second place, 7 seconds ahead of third place. I mean, it's super close, mate. But you've had an amazing season so far, and so what will you guys do now for a bit of recovery? Do you do any recovery after this run, or do you just get back onto the trails tomorrow?
It would be nice to do a little, but it's important to recover well, and it's always hard. I think it's not some races that you can say, okay, take easy. Here, it's all the time. You are pushing hard. It's not a second of a recovery. So, I think, until it will take some days for sure to recover 100%.
Yeah, it takes a while to recover. I've been training a lot this year, so my legs are used to doing a lot of running. But it's it's a really intense race. So I'll have probably 2 weeks pretty easy, and then I won't race properly again for about 4 weeks. So.
All right, guys. Well, we've got the we've got the first female, Lucy, coming through, coming down the main bit of stretch here. What's just a couple of 100 meters to go? She's doing a great time. I think it's 3 minutes behind the record. But what we're going to do is we're just going to watch Lucy come through. This will be the second year in a row that she's won, and her third victory overall at Sierre-Zinal. And she's coming through. Looks like she's being unchallenged into the final section here, but it's super impressive. Robbie, can you just tell us, Robbie, what do you think she's feeling right now? Do you think her legs are hurting a bit?
Yeah, but I'm sure she's absolutely delighted to be coming down the last section in first place. Obviously, I don't know what that feels like to come down at first, but I know that when you see those signs on the road and it's only a few hundred meters to go, and also the crowd's so loud. So, every year it hurts so much on the road, but you just go faster and faster. So I really like that.
What do you think, Matt? Do you think she's got some good feelings right now?
Sure, she's amazing. She has been winning second year in a row, good times. So, credit to her. She's an incredible athlete.
And we see her now coming over the finish line. It's just over a couple of meters to our left here, but there she goes, coming through, winning the race for the second year in a row, which is a super impressive thing to do. It's amazing to win this race just once, but to win it twice for the Kenyan, it's super impressive, and she's just got to be stoked that she could come here again. Hey, Emily's joining us as well again. Hey, Emily, how are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. I'm following the race online on Solomon Running, and it's so awesome to see Lucy doing such a great race. The Kenyan runner, she's amazing, huh?
Yeah, no, it's super good, and she looks like she's really put herself out there, and she's pretty spent. I think it's one of those races where we just had Robbie Simpson And Killian here just saying a few words that they said it's one of those races you can never back off. You can never go easy at all.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we also see the second woman, Michelle Meyer, who he has been doing such a great race so far. She's maybe 700 meters from the finish line now.
Yeah, it's not far at all. And I think
La deuxième femme, Michelle Meyer, allemande, qui est dans moins d'un kilomètre de la ligne d'arrivée. Donc avant l'interview, on était avec Kylian Jornet et Robbie Simpson qui terminent premier et deuxième de la course. Et, ils sont très satisfaits de leur résultat et de la bagarre qui se sont début à la fin.
Yeah, we see here Lucy really coming down into the town now, and you know that's a super impressive run from her. The female and the male first and second place is the same from 2017, with Kylian Jornet coming in first, Robbie Simpson in second, Lucy Marugi coming in first place, and Michelle Meyer. You know, she hasn't finished yet, but she's only about 500 meters away from the finish here, and so the 1-2 for the male and female podiums is set the same for 2017, which is an incredible achievement, isn't it, Emily, with the competition depth and the height of the competition at this race. To come here
for
and
sure. It's really impressive, and I think we have been talking about this before. It's a race that attracts both mountain runners, trail runners, road runners, and it's really high competition.
Yeah, and I think it's you know, it just goes to show how hard these guys work throughout the year to be able to come back and run such impressive races year after year. And Emily, are you pretty stoked, Emily, to see Kylian come over in the finish? Will he be in a good mood for the rest of the week?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I told you when he was pushing away from Robbie Simpson, so far away still from the finish line, I knew he was going to be in good shape, because otherwise he wouldn't gone that hard that early.
Yeah. I mean, we just
now we see Michelle Meyer coming to the finish line, which is so cool. She's really a good runner.
Yeah, it's an amazing effort to come second here again. Winning in 2016, placing second in 2017, and also placing second this year is Michelle Meyer in Germany, and she's coming over the finish line now, and that's a stomping run from her. She looks pretty spent, and it's an amazing effort.
Yeah, super good. Do we know the third woman?
No, we don't know.
We're unsure who's in third place in the women just yet. We don't have a visual on that, so we're not sure exactly what it is. But as you were saying before, Emily, that's going to be really, really interesting to see who comes down in third place. There's certainly some suspense around third place right now. I mean, last time we checked, I believe it was Simone coming through, and then it was Ruth Croft following quite closely in fourth place, and then Victoria Cruiser coming through as well. So as soon as we get a visual on that, it's going to be really, really interesting to see who's coming through in third place for the women. I know we have our cameraman out on the trails, and we're going to hopefully get a visual on third place pretty soon. If you were
I think it will be. I have a good feeling that it will be Ruth Croft has overtaken Simone, because Ruth Croft is so strong in the end of the races.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was a betting man, I would probably say the same. It's just going to be really interesting to see if it plays out like that. We can actually jump online now. Yeah. Oh, here we go. It's third place is actually Simone. She's just come through then.
Oh yeah, it was Simone. Wow.
So we didn't get a visual earlier on, but that's her. She's come through in third place, Simone. And that's an incredible run. I mean, I think, and that's Ruth right there.
So close.
Oh, so close that was. Damn.
Wow.
Oh, that would have been a painful third place to watch. Just slip through the cracks there for Ruth. But, you know, Ruth is incredibly talented runner. She looks pretty spent right now.
Yeah.
Those two girls must have really raced it into the finish. I mean, that's an incredible downhill to race on coming into the finish line, isn't it, Emily?
Yeah, for sure. It's brutal. I have been running the last 10 kilometers and you can go so fast there. You smash your legs and you give everything. So they done a great job finishing so good.
It's impressive to see how you can run for such a distance, like 30 kilometers, and then your race is still in very, very hot contention, and you need to still be on the limit, so to speak.
Verkligen.
Have you?
Really.
Yeah, Emily, you've done. Obviously you've been racing for years, and is there a moment in your competitive life where you remember quite clearly where you had to compete out of your skin to make sure that you won a race? Is there something there that you remember?
I had many of those races, but I guess I had a really fun race with Mira Ray on Ultra Pyreneo, the 100K race. We were running almost the whole race together, and then the last 20K, I really needed to push to make a gap on her, and I gave everything there.
Yeah, it's pretty. And what is it for you? Like, what is it for you that you call upon in those times to make sure that you don't drop your concentration and you don't drop your hunger to win? Like, what is it for you that allows you to still be competitive even though you're 80 kilometers into a race and you have 20 kilometers to go?
I think it depends about, like, you want to give everything. You want to see what you can do with your capacity, and that's what most runners want to do. They want to just run against themselves.
Do you think, is there any way that you can train that? Is there any way that you can, train that ability to remain competitive and to remain hungry so close to the end of a race?
Yeah, I think for sure. It's about the mental strength and your motivation, because I know maybe some runners is more about positions, and if they see that they are struggling a bit in the beginning of a race, they can easily don't finish a race. But I think it's more finding another motivation than just the position. It's about making a good race for yourself.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this would be Elisa Desco coming through.
Yes, she has been overtaking a few runners. That's really awesome from Elisa Desco. She's a mother of 2 children now.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I believe she had a bit of a break there for a few years, and then had a few kids, and then obviously served a bit of a penalty for some acts, but she's coming through now, I guess, in 5th place, and yeah, that's an impressive run. She's certainly come from behind there.
That's really impressive of her. I knew she was in a good shape, but this was impressive. I think she was 8th or 9th up in Weisshorn, so she has been overtaking a few runners on this pass. On the downhill, as we said before, is really hard for your legs.
Yeah, women are doing very good times. She will be
They are
3 hours and 8 minutes. So to have 5 women behind, or maybe later 8 or 9 women behind 3 hours and 10 minutes is really impressive and not common.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly impressive as well when you look at the stats. Like, Elisa Desco won the race back in 2013, and she's come back here again, 5 years later, and still competing for the top 10. It's a really, really impressive to see, because that's something pretty hard to do, to be at the top of the game for such a long period of time.
Yeah, for sure. She's very inspiring for all the runners out there, especially women who have kids. She's showing it's possible to come back fast.
That's for sure. I'm not sure exactly what years she had a break, but I think it might have been in between that 2003.
And here we see Megan coming to the finish line as well. She has been doing another stunning race. I'm really happy for Megan, having a good day out there.
Yeah, it's super impressive.
I think she won the race once. Huh?
No,
I don't think Megan Kimmel's won the race yet, but she's certainly someone who could challenge to be a winner here. I think.
Yeah.
we've still got Killian hanging around here. He's hard to get rid of, that guy. He wins a race and he just wants to be a part of the commentary now. It's amazing to see.
Yeah.
So what we have is we just want to give a little bit of a shout out about the watches and the prediction of the watches for the Sunto competition that we ran. What we'll do is we'll have to obviously review all the comments that came through, and it would be great to review the comments, and then what we'll do is we'll reach out to the individuals who have won the competition to win the Sunto watches, who guessed the male winner and the female winner and the times that's the closest to their finishing times. We'll reach out to them on Facebook. So that's when we'll be able to see who won the watches, and that's how we'll tie up that competition. So thanks a lot for everyone for being involved in that. It's really great to get that interaction with you guys and to have a bit of fun while we do this commentary and bring you the live feed for the Golden Trail Series. And we've got Megan Kimmel coming through now. She's coming through in I believe it must be 6th position. And,
yeah, 6th position.
She's had a great run, and we've got some footage here. This is Killian and Lucy at the finishes of the male and the female 2018 champions for Sierre-Zinal, and that's Megan 1-2-1 crossing over the finish line there. And you can see this is how they do it. This is Ellie Gordon now as well coming through, 1:17. Ellie Gordon's a super strong runner, came 3rd in the recent Mont Blanc Marathon, and we've got the 2 of the other Salomon girls, Ida Nielsen and Laura. That's almost a tie there for 8th place, I believe. 8th or.
Yeah, and Ellie Gordon had done a really impressive race as she was 17 in Weisshorn, so she has been chasing runners in the last part.
It's a super strong finish, isn't it? To be able to be that far back mentally, as well as physically having all those kilometers in your legs to then finish off so strong, and you're absolutely right. It's an amazing finish. We can see the top 5 women there, and you can obviously see like just how close that is, Emily, in terms of running a trail race and finishing in close contention. This has got to be probably one of the most hotly contested races in the trail running scene for sure when you look at those finishing times.
Yeah, that's for sure. The top 10 women is 12 minutes behind Lucy Van Boy, so that's pretty good.
It's pretty amazing, yeah. And we can tell here that we've got the Kenyan Lucy. She's coming through in 1st place, and Michelle 2nd place, Simone in 3rd. I think that was Ruth Croft and then Elisa Desco in 4th and 5th respectively. You can see here just in the background there, the 2 2018 champions are just up there, and that's Victoria Cruiser coming through as well, finishing off. I think we're almost rounded out for the top 10 in the competition today, which is great to see them come in so closely. And I think it's one thing that really is really makes it painful for these runners at the very end.
Yeah. Great. So this has been great joining you on the live.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us on the live, Emily. It's a real pleasure to have someone of your caliber join us at such a in such an incredible show of trail running, and we really wish you the best of luck with your travels over to Pikes Peak. Don't forget as well, Emily's doing her book launch in Denver on Tuesday the 14th at Runner's Roost, I believe. So if anyone's out in Denver on Tuesday night, head down to see Emily. Go for a group run. We're doing a community group run, and then everyone's going to be there I think Emily's going to cook up some food as well. Everyone's going to eat some food and sign some books. It's going to be great. But all the best with your travels, Emily. We really look forward to seeing you over in Pikes Peak again next week, which will be the 4th race of the Golden Trail Series, and we'll all bring that race to everyone live.
Thank you, guys.
So safe travels, and thanks a lot, Emily. We really appreciate your time.
You too.
See you
Good
later.
job, eh? See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
So I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. we've rounded out the top 10. You can see here Holly Page coming over the line as well. She's looking great. I mean, you know, that's the kind of face you want to see after a 31K race in the mountains, because it makes you really realize that you've done a good day out there. Maximilian, I'm going to call you Maximilian because you've been $1 million today out here, mate. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise, and really respecting the job that you've done here today is really
It was a pleasure for me.
Yeah.
To be here with you. Thank you.
And you've said that you're not going to come back here next year because you want to run the race. If I don't see you here next year, I'll be disappointed sitting next to me. But I really hope you have a great run next year if you do run the race, and all the best with the future, because you're a very young and talented runner. So
Thank you.
Everyone look out for this young gun. He's an incredible runner, and he's going to be able to show everyone his amazing skills into the future. But what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up here today. It's been great bringing another live presentation to you from Sierre-Zinal as part of the Golden Trail series. It's something that is very it's very difficult for us to put on sometimes. Put a lot of time and effort into it. And we'd really appreciate your feedback on the live commentary. We'd like to thank Mark Lowenstein, who's here as well. He's been on the internet and the computer all day answering your feedback from the live commentary on Facebook. So give a big shout out to Mark Lowenstein, previous winner of the race, a real Swiss machine. He's an amazing guy. If you ever see him in the street, just say good day because he's a really nice person. We're gonna say goodbye here today at Sierre-Zinal. Please join us again next week at Pikes Peak Marathon in the US on the 19th of August. We're going to do another live 4th race of the Golden Trail series. We're going to be really stoked to be in the US. We're going to be pumped to bring you the race. Commentator Dylan Bowman's going to be there with me, and we're going to have a great day. So for now, at Sierre-Zinal, we'd like to congratulate again Lucy and Killian for winning the race, and all the other runners that have participated, from the tourist category to the elite people.
5,000 people were running today. That were all impressive. And to thanks all the guys working for the race. There are almost 500 people working to make this race possible, and I would like to thank them. To thank them for their job.
Absolutely, man. I think that you couldn't finish on a better note by saying thanks a lot to the volunteers and the workers of the race that put this thing on. So a big thank you to them. Thank you to the volunteers. And we're going to say goodbye now. Peace out. And thanks a lot again, Max. It's been great.
Et donc, merci à tous d'avoir regardé le live. Ça a été un plaisir pour nous de commenter, même s'il y a eu quelques petits problèmes techniques. Mais j'espère que vous avez passé un bon moment avec nous et que vous avez pris du plaisir à suivre cette course. Donc la prochaine course du Golden Trail Series, ce sera à Pikes Peak aux États-Unis la semaine prochaine. Et puis vous aurez donc droit à un nouveau live là-bas. Donc à bientôt et puis bonne suite à tous.
So thanks a lot, everyone. Filmers, volunteers, our man Jordy, Maria.